Private tuition. An antipode video abstract. Private tuition has existed in Britain for centuries. Traditionally, it's been a precursor and alternative to schooling for children from wealthier families. The expansion of schooling in the 19th century caused a downturn, but this story of decline has a twist in its tale. Today, private tuition is rarely an alternative to schooling for the upper classes, but its market as a supplement to mainstream education has burgeoned. In this new guise, the supplementary education sector provides part-time, out-of-school tuition that enhances formal learning. In this paper, we consider how the neoliberalisation of education has created this vibrant private tuition market. Working with large-scale nationally representative survey data, we examine how regional, class and racialised differences in access to tuition shape social mobility and inequality. The paper sets this metamorphosis of private tuition in the context of neoliberal policy logics. These frame education as a vital element for national and individual success in global knowledge economies. They have prompted both the marketisation of schooling and policy initiatives which hold families responsible for children's educational outcomes. These shifts have prompted a surge of geographical work on educational restructuring, but analysis of the flourishing supplementary education industry has been absent from these debates. This paper addresses this gap. Our quantitative research shows that private tuition has now been used by over 1/4 of state-educated pupils aged 11 to 16. The market is highly instrumental, focused on improving academic performance within schools and enhancing access to academically selective education. The size of the market is immense, and so too is the socio-spatial variation in its form. The private tuition market is spatially uneven, being most developed in London and least developed in Northern England. This means that children face a tuition postcode lottery that maps onto existing regional inequalities in state school funding. The market has created a new class politics of tuition as greater usage by wealthier children cements social inequality. But this paper finds that the resurgence of private tuition cannot solely be understood through class politics. Proportionately greater use of private tuition by BA/ME families than their white counterparts offers positive scope for minority ethnic advancement. The paper draws these regional, classed and racialised practices together. It establishes that all are statistically important in shaping tuition usage, but it is through their intersection that new configurations of advantage and disadvantage are formed. For example, wealthier BA/ME groups in the English heartlands, especially London, benefit from this new market, but BA/ME groups from disadvantaged class or regional backgrounds are unlikely to share in the spoils. White northern working class children now find themselves at the bottom of the educational pile. This paper makes 3 contributions to geographical knowledge. First, it broadens the definition of education in geography to encompass private tuition and the supplementary education sector. This is a crucial step in making visible an industry which operates outside of state regulation. Second, the paper advances debate about the socio-spatial specificity of neoliberalisation. It shows that the intersection of neoliberal policy, free markets and consumer behaviour reshapes the educational landscape in ways that extend beyond state intention and control. Finally, the study demonstrates that neoliberal policy is not always and only regressive. We must therefore trace how it subtly realigns axes of inequality, offering social mobility to some, whilst maintaining overall levels of disadvantage.